Welcome to video 19 of series 3, and in this video I'll show you how to use an overlap sphere. Right, so before I can actually apply an explosion force to lots of rigid body game objects, I need to have some way to detect them. Right, so if I've got a whole bunch of cubes there, all with rigid bodies, and then I fire a grenade on them, and well, I need to use an overlap sphere basically to collect all the colliders that were in the blast radius, and then apply an explosion force to all of them. Oh, by the way, if you notice like the floor flickering like that, all it is that the floor has shadows set to off, so cast shadows off. So either you set the cubes to off or the floor to off. So that's just a sidetrack there. Let me just turn that to on. Alright, and if I just hit play, you can see now that it's not a problem. Okay, so sorry, just thought I should point that out. Alright, so getting back to the script itself, the grenade explosion script, I need to first make a variable. I need to make an array of colliders, an array of the type collider that will collect all of the colliders, will house all of the colliders touched by the overlap sphere. So I'll call this private collider. And to make an array, as you saw before, 2 square brackets, I'll call it hit colliders. Alright. And I'm also going to need a float, so a blast radius. I'm going to make this public. Float blast radius. Okay, and I'll set it in the inspector. I'll make a new function, my own. I'll call this explosion work, say, for example. And it will need a parameter. It'll need something passed in, and I'm going to make that the vector3. So the point of the explosion, exactly where did that happen? So explosion point. Okay, now I'll call the function, and I don't need the debug log statement anymore, and I'll call the function now explosion work, and I'll supply it with that vector3, and that's what we have right up above. So col.contacts, the first bit in the the first index in that array, dot point dot toString. All right. Okay. So that method will get called now, and oh, oops, what am I doing? toString. No, of course not. That's silly. Now it's also type vector3. I can't pass in a type of string because this needs a vector3, right? So when I was saying .toString, I'm passing in a string, which is nonsensical. Alright, now that I've done that, now I want to collect the colliders. So I'm going to say hit colliders, assign to it physics, and this one here, .overlap sphere. And it's really simple to use. It needs an origin, a point of origin. Where is this overlap sphere growing from? And that is none other than the explosion point, because I've supplied it here. So col.contacts, the first point, and that gets applied in here, and now I can make use of it here. Explosion point, radius is blast radius. And I could, if I were interested in limiting which layers the overlap sphere can touch, I can also add another parameter, which is the layer mask. I'm not going to do that, so that way this can affect any game object that has a rigid body on it. Instead, all I'll do is to just stop it there. But if you are, for example, going to like make an enemy AI, and the enemy AI is going to use an overlap sphere at intervals to look for the player, then you definitely use a layer mask, and then you only search for the player's layer. By doing that, it's much more efficient that way. Okay, and that's it. So now that I've got all those colliders, so perhaps I should be doing something with them. So what I'll say is that for each collider, and I'll just say it hit col in hit colliders. Now I will in the next video add an explosion force to it, but in this video I'll just say debug.log hit collider, oops, not that one. So hit col dot game object dot name. Alright. So that will get called, and there's a good reason, you know, up here I didn't mention that, but add stuff before you destroy the game object. Run functions first, otherwise when you destroy the game object, well, if anything you add afterwards is not likely to run. Okay, let's go back and let me give that a try. Let's see what happens. Alright, there you go. It's detected the floor prototype. Oh, hold on. It's got a blast radius of 0, so it only will give me information of what it touches. Silly me. Alright, so going back here to the grenade, if you go to grenade explosion, it needs a blast radius. I'll just try 10 for now. I'm not really too sure what to add. You only know once I start adding the explosion force and then blowing stuff up, then it'll make more sense. What I want to do though is I would like to add some cubes. Just so that it gives me something to, you know, see for giving me information on. Let me just reset the position here. Just move it out of the way a bit. And actually I might just reduce the size of those icons. They do get in the way sometimes, so you just notice what I was doing there. Alright. Okay, come back and just move that up. Alright. So what do I want to do? I want to add a rigid body. Oh, okay, I'd already been searching for that. So I'll add that rigid body. And yes, I want it to use gravity. I might just make it a little heavier than 1 unit. Alright, yeah, okay, and in constraints, I want it to be able to move in any direction and rotate in any direction as well. So if I hit play, I'll see that it's a normal rigid body game object. Okay. Let me put it down to 0.5. And I'll duplicate it now. Make a wall is what I'm going to do. Alright. Then I'll make a new empty game object. Just put it out there. And one trick I use is to, if I want the parent to be lined up with one of the children game objects, drop it first into one of the children game objects and reset the position. So this is a useful technique. Then just take it out and then take all the children and drop them into the parent. And now it's easy to move them all around in a sensible way. The parent isn't like far off in space and the children are sitting here, and it doesn't make any sense that way. Alright, so coming back, I'll just say this a rigid body wall. And I'll duplicate these some more. So another one again. Alright. Okay, so I'll save that and hit play. Now if I shoot my grenade, let's see, what did it hit? It's hit a lot of items. So, there we go. So basically what I need to do is to expand that up to see all of the rigid bodies that were touched by that overlap sphere, and it's giving them all back to me. So it is working, and that's pretty cool. And what you see happening here is simply the bullet just not getting destroyed so fast that it's unable to actually push other game objects in the scene. All that's happening, there's no explosion, so there's no explosion at the moment. That's simply the bullet, which is a rigid body itself, just hitting stuff, and it gets destroyed moments, well, less than probably even a moment later. Alright, so that is pretty much working. I've got my overlap sphere working just fine. In the next video, what I need to do is to add an explosion force to make it a lot more interesting. Alright, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.